A young boy and his younger brother shuffled between orphanages for 6 years because their mother could not take care of them. As the young boy grew, he found faith in Catholicism and wanted to become a priest. But like every child with changing goals, he also wanted to be a baseball player. At one point during his childhood, he had his only academic career desire, to become an architect. And sadly, he did not achieve any of these aspirations. What he did, though, could be said to dwarf his previous ambitions. Little did he know that he would go on to build one of the biggest pizza brands in the world. This is the story of how a poor boy who grew up in various orphanages raised a pizza business worth billions. Tom Monahan was born on the 25th of March, 1937. He was born in the university town of Ann Arbor, Michigan, to Francis Monahan, a truck driver, and Anna Geddes Monahan. The first 4 years of his childhood were spent in a farmhouse built by his father on the land he purchased from his mother. At the age of 4, Tom lost his father. His mother, Anna, who was not the breadwinner at that time, barely earned $27.50 a week. As a result, she could not take care of her 2 sons and was forced to give them up to a foster home. Eventually, the boys were moved to an orphanage, the St. Joseph Home for Boys. Tom and his brother spent 6.5 years in the orphanage until his mother came for him in 1949. While at the orphanage, Tom discovered a love for the Catholic Church, and there he found faith. He also developed a deep interest in architecture by cleaning and caring for the old mansion where he lived. While at the orphanage, he also picked up a very important value, a sense that he could achieve anything. This was something he got from the teacher he loved the most, Sister Berarda. Besides these 3 takeaways, Tom did not really like staying in the orphanage because of their regimented lifestyle. Little did he know that a life of discipline and regimentation awaited him in the future. In his autobiography, Pizza Tiger, he even noted how the orphanage felt like a prison to him. When he was in the 6th grade, his mother finished her education to become a nurse. She moved the boys in with her and started working at Munson Hospital in Traverse City, located in the state of Michigan. Monahan contributed financially by growing vegetables in the backyard, catching fish in Lake Michigan and selling them, and selling copies of the Traverse City Record Eagle in front of Milliken's department store in the middle of town. At this point in time, he had become difficult to manage, and he could never live with his mother for extended periods without causing problems in the home. St. Francis High School in Traverse City was Monahan's new home after he had been placed in foster care. He had an epiphany about his future career path while he was knee-deep in manure in the barnyard of his foster home. He realized that he wanted to become a priest. His parish priest made the necessary arrangements for him to enroll in St. Joseph's Seminary in Grand Rapids, Michigan. However, he was not able to handle the strict regimen and was asked to leave in less than a year for engaging in activities such as pillow fights and talking while in the chapel. He had endured a lot of failures in his earlier years, but his expulsion from the chapel hit him the most, as he admitted in his autobiography. "Never before or since have I felt so crushed. I am no stranger to failure, but no other setback devastated me as this one did, because it was so final." After Tom left the seminary, he returned back to Traverse City and began school at St. Francis High School, but he could not stay there for long. This time, his mother had had it with him and had sent him to a juvenile detention home. When his aunt and uncle found out, they came and took him into their own custody. They returned back to Ann Arbor, and Tom began continuing school at St. Thomas High School in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Tom planned to go to college. He still had dreams of securing a degree in architecture, but his final results at high school were extremely bad. He placed 44 out of 44 students, and his results were not good enough to get him into any college without a lot of money. So he enrolled in Ferris State College's architectural trade program in Big Rapids, Michigan, and worked odd jobs to cover the cost of his education. He had wished to continue his education at the University of Michigan, but was unable to do so due to financial constraints. At some point during this period, he saw an ad that promised paid college tuition if he joined the army, so he decided to try that route. As luck would have it, he mistakenly joined the Marines instead. On July 2, 1959, He was given an honorable discharge from the Marines after having served for 3 years. He foolishly put his $2,000 college fund into a get-rich-quick oil scheme because he wanted to make money quickly. He never saw his money again. In the fall of 1959, Tom intended to enroll at the University of Michigan. However, he became ill with an infected eardrum and was unable to earn enough money to cover tuition, room and board, or textbooks. He gave it another go in the spring of 1960, but he dropped out again after only 3 weeks. While in school, Tom was looking for a way to sustain himself. In interviews, he has even noted that his foray into the pizza business was not meant to be permanent, but rather something to raise funds for his education. "I started out in architecture school and got into the pizza business to pay my way through school. The pizza business was losing so much money, I never got back into architecture." He and his brother James pulled together $900 and bought a small pizza store called Domino's in Ypsilanti, Michigan. All was not smooth sailing to billions when he started. Instead, they had a rough start, and as Tom noted, the shop was gulping up money. The brothers agreed to divide up the work equally, but James was reluctant to give up his full-time postman job to focus on the new venture. Following only 8 months, James sold his share of the company to Tom in exchange for the Volkswagen Beetle they used for pizza deliveries. There was the issue of naming the business. Initially, Tom and James had kept the original name of the pizza store, Domino's. But after a while, Tom sought to expand, and he bought 2 more pizza stores within the same county. He wanted all the stores to have the same name, but the previous owner of the pizza store, Dominic DeVarty, forbade him from using the name Domino's, so they had to look for a new name. The idea for the name Domino's came from an employee by the name of Jim Kennedy, who had just returned from delivering pizza. The idea was an instant hit with Monahan, and in 1965, he made it official by rebranding the company as Domino's Pizza Inc. The issues plaguing the name did not end there though, because 10 years later, another company sued Domino's Pizza for its name. Domino's Pizza was served with a lawsuit by Amstar Corporation, the company that produces Domino sugar. The lawsuit alleged that Domino's was engaging in trademark infringement as well as unfair competition. Domino's Pizza was successful in its appeal to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, which was held in New Orleans on May 2, 1980. As a result of the continued expansion of the company, Monahan was forced to deal with a variety of difficulties. A fire in 1967 gutted his anchor store in Ypsilanti, which had supplied food to the company's other locations and also housed its administrative offices. The vast majority of the damage was not secured through the insurance. By 1970, Domino's had run up a debt of $1.5 million due to its unchecked growth, which had caused the company to go bankrupt. On May 1, 1970, in an effort to save the company from going bankrupt, Monahan transferred ownership of it to Ken Hevlin, a local businessman. In less than a year, he was back in command, and by 1973, Domino's had made a full recovery. Domino's was back on track and had continued its upward growth. It began to eye the international market. Its first target was its North American neighbor, Canada, and on the 12th of May, 1983, Domino's opened its first international store in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. The company was doing well, and in that same year, it hits its 1,000 store mark with its very first store in Vancouver, Washington. It did not stop there. By 1985, it had begun to extend its reach to Europe as it opened its first store in Luton in the UK. That same year, Domino's also opened its first store in Tokyo, Japan. In 1990, though, the company began to see a slowdown. This was because Tom had begun to involve himself with unnecessary luxuries that distracted him from his business. He was able to get back focus after he was forced to sell some of his prized possessions. Under the leadership of entrepreneur Luis Tejas Rodriguez in the Dominican Republic, they opened their doors in 1993 as the second American franchise in the Dominican Republic and the first in Haiti. Domino's Pizza had grown to 1,000 locations around the world in 1995. Domino's Pizza expanded to its 1,500th international location in 1997 when 7 new outlets were opened in one day across 5 different continents. One thing that had made Domino's Pizza stand out from its competition under Tom was their quick delivery. While others focused on making better and more delicious pizza, Tom had looked into the efficiency of packing pizza and quick delivery of pizza to those who ordered. On the efficiency front, he came up with the idea for an insulated box that could not only maintain the temperature of the pizza, but also withstand the weight of additional boxes stacked on top of it. Because of this, several pizzas were able to be delivered all at once without the lid of the box sagging, which would have caused the cheese to become adhered to the top. Pizza delivery as we know it today came into existence at this time. Because of Monahan's emphasis on delivery, in 1973, he introduced a policy that guaranteed customers would receive their pizza within 30 minutes of placing their order over the phone, or their order would be free. Although this had to be discontinued because of the increase in accidents and a case where the company lost $78 million after one of its drivers had injured a woman. Eventually, in 1993, Tom sold his 93% of his stock ownership in Domino's. The company continued to grow, and by 2014, they had over 6,000 locations globally. Outside of business, Tom Monahan was interested in luxury items, and he bought the Detroit Tigers, his childhood club, took them to glory, and later sold the club in 1992. He also had a large automobile collection, which included one of the world's 6 Bugatti Royale, which he purchased for $8.1 million in 1986 and sold for $8 million in 1991. After he sold his shares, he went back to his faith and became a very committed Catholic. He gave extensively to the Catholic Church and sponsored a lot of projects, including funding and supervising the construction of a new cathedral in Managua, Nicaragua, after the old cathedral was destroyed in a 1972 earthquake. His Catholic faith also brought him at odds with those who were pro-abortion. He built the Ave Maria University, Florida, Ave Maria College, Ave Maria School of Law, and established the Ave Maria Mutual Funds. For someone with his background, he went against all odds, made a lot of money, and changed the pizza industry for the better. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video, and we will see you next time. Till then, bye.